Hi, my name is Willow, and I just completed 30 days of the anti-inflammatory diet. I officially hit 30 days today of being on this anti-inflammatory diet. I've been seeing this diet everywhere on TikTok. I really wanted to work internally with myself, and eating clean is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. When I got back home and I graduated college, I was determined to really change my diet and change the way that I was eating and a lot of my lifestyle habits. And so many of them have changed, and I'm so grateful for doing this diet because this is honestly the longest one that I've ever stuck with. This has been like an 8 month, whoa. This has been like an 8 month journey of me trying to figure out which diet works best for me. So for my anti-inflammatory diet, because I know that there's a lot of different versions out there, just because again, everyone's body does react differently to certain things. So I feel like for my anti-inflammatory diet, I stuck to just like the one that I was seeing that was most popular, which was like no seed oils, no gluten, no dairy, and no refined sugars. I decided that I really wanted to take the body cleanse to a next level, and I also did a parasite cleanse on top of this diet. So for the first 2 weeks, I was going through it, but there are so many benefits to this diet. Like, I have genuinely seen my skin clear up. I've had more energy. I feel just so good. And it's one of those things where I'm like, do I want to go back? Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to go back. Of course, there's a lot of glamorous stuff to it, and you always see the people. Sorry, I have to make sure this mic was on because one time I recorded a whole entire video and the mic cut off halfway through. It died, and I didn't film for about like 3 weeks after that. I want to tell you guys some of the things that I found very challenging about the anti-inflammatory diet, and something that you should probably know before you start it, just because if I had this information, I feel like it would have been a lot more easier ride for me. Not considering the fact that like you obviously have the negatives of being on any type of diet or restricting yourself from anything. Your body's going to go through periods where it's purging. So you're gonna have a lot of die-off symptoms, where it's like fatigue and mood swings. You might be a little bit irritable. You may have some skin, like acne problems, because your body's like just trying to purge all the toxins out and everything. So I definitely do think that those are very normal. Those are like the negatives and very basics. The first thing I had a hard time with was planning my meals. Oh my gosh, you guys. I felt like I was spending at least my whole entire Sunday like scrolling on TikTok trying to find meals that I could eat for the week, because obviously groceries are, they're a little pricey. They're a little pricey. We're going to try to find the best way to plan our meals so we can buy our groceries. So the number one thing I had a problem with was like planning meals and making sure that the meals were going to last me throughout the week, but also that they didn't have anything that I was being restricted of. So like no seed oils, no gluten, no dairy, no refined sugars. Like, do you guys know how hard it is to grocery shop for that? Especially when you're not like used to it. I feel like if you're somebody who's used to it, which again, this is something that like definitely started to get easier over time. But the first 2 weeks, I was like, what do I eat? But seriously, like before you go on the diet, choose at least like 3 meals for each, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that you're gonna want to eat. I personally didn't have a problem repeating meals. If you are a meal repeater like me, go ahead, girl, because that will save you. It will save you time. It will also save you money. I personally ate the same thing every day for breakfast. That for lunch, I even cut out lunch. It got to a point where I was like, we're not doing lunch no more. Like lunch is not gonna happen. I ended up just like having a snack. So I would have like peppers and hummus, or carrots and hummus, or avocados, and like little like dishes like that, like little snacks, like healthy snacks. So I felt like trying to plan the meals was definitely really, really hard. But if you can go on TikTok and find some good people on TikTok that have like some good meals, I will insert some of the girlies right here. I use them like all the time to help me with planning meals and stuff, because they were just so good. It's really important to be able to like find an area that you can resort to use as a resource when it comes to anti-inflammatory meals, especially because again, like a lot of ingredients include those things that you were being restricted of. So instead of trying to waste your whole entire Sunday trying to figure out what meals you should eat for the week, I would say definitely plan out a few meals before you start your dieting. That way you can get ahead of the game. Plan for enough throughout the whole entire week. Making sure that you have food from Sunday to Saturday, or like Sunday to Friday, and then maybe Saturday eating out. Planning your meals will definitely help with grocery shopping, but I was having such a hard time making sure that I was being budgetable sure that I was budgeting like my finances, because I personally didn't want to spend $200 on groceries. And you guys, there are really some people out there that are like doing the anti-inflammatory diet, and they're like restocking up on like chia seeds every single week. Like, girl, do you know how much chia seeds are? They're like $7 for that little bitty bag. You're stocking up on it every week. Like some of the staples and essentials, like olive oil, like cold pressed olive oil in that glass bottle, y'all, it's like $12. Are you kidding me? $12 for the olive oil, and then it's like $7 for some chia seeds. Y'all are stocking up on that every week. Like, that's damn near $20. They'll spend all of this money on grocery shopping, and it feels like so unrealistic. You're like, how can I eat healthy and how can I eat good if this is what I'm like trying to accomplish, and they're spending all of this money on groceries? No. Like, I kept it very, very, very simple and basic. I like stuck to a greens, like a few greens. So like the three greens I would always rotate was like arugula, kale, and spinach. One week I would buy either a bunch of kale or I would buy a bunch of arugula or spinach, and I would eat salads. Like, I would always make sure that I had a salad throughout the week. I always made sure that I had leafy green in there. I ate a lot of like potatoes as well, sweet potatoes, mostly chicken and beef. Always make sure that I had about like 2 meats per week. I could definitely share with you guys some of the ways that I did grocery shopping to be really frugal with it. It was such a challenge for me because I was like, I'm not dropping, because I used to be one of those grocery shoppers that I'd be like, oh, I want to make this meal, and the meal comes with 7 different sauces, and you need 800 million different ingredients that you don't have at home. So you're buying all these ingredients and then you just never use it again. So I think when you're planning your meals, making sure that like whatever you do purchase for groceries is something that you can use for the following week, or the meals kind of blend together. So that's why I was a really big on meal repeater. Um, I just know that I had a goal of really making sure that I was utilizing this diet to its best abilities and getting the most benefits from it. So try the best that I can to be able to not have to spend too much money on groceries and to not make sure that anything doesn't go to waste. I feel like so many times people do this diet and they like romanticize it to the point where it looks unrealistic and it looks unreachable and unattainable, and that's like something that I struggled with a little bit at first, and even trying to get into the diet. But once I decided to start to make it work for me, it really did help a lot. And if there's anything that I can share with you guys to maybe help you guys along with that, I definitely would want to, because I mean, you can definitely go check out my TikTok if you want. If you want, if you want, you can go check out my TikTok. I definitely do have some meals on there that I've posted that are super, super easy, quick, and they get the job done. I have a really hard time making plans with my friends. Me and my friends were definitely the type of girls that we love to go out to eat. We love to go out to eat and get us a little drink, and that was something that. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I also did cut out alcohol and caffeine. Actually, no, not caffeine, because I did drink matcha every day. So let's backtrack that. I cut out coffee. It was the restaurants. Like, I didn't know. I was being a little bit like superstitious. Like, I didn't know if the restaurant was going to be making their food with seed oils, or if the restaurant was going to have dairy in it or gluten. I didn't know how to like maneuver everything yet. So for the like first 2 weeks, I don't know how to determine and use my judgment or whether or not like what I can and can't eat. So like just for myself and like the purpose of it. And like, I know it's not that serious, but I was taking it serious. I was taking my job very, very, very serious, because this time around, I really wanted to do this for myself. And that was one thing that I didn't even think I would struggle with. But again, that's like the first 2 weeks. I feel like once you start to figure everything out, you definitely will have an easier time. Be like, okay, hey, let's go to this restaurant. Like, I think at first, like when you really start to be like, okay, I want to do an anti-inflammatory diet, you're revolving your life around your meals that you have to plan, and just like grocery shopping and making sure that you're hitting your marks and everything. Sometimes I feel like that can get really, really toxic if you're not careful. I think I was so determined to accomplish this diet and to see results from it. So I was like, I'm really going to spend a lot of time researching it and figuring out what meals I can eat. And that's why I always say, like, from the first like struggle that I told you guys that I had, would to be like to just make sure you're planning everything out, make sure you have yourself organized with the diet. The way that I always like to think about it is, if you're in season and you're an athlete and you got games and you're being cautious of what you're putting into your body, you're being cautious of what you're doing and stuff like that. And I think that's just how it was for the anti-inflammatory diet. Like, you know that you're in season. I'm spending a lot of time like researching this, and I'm spending a lot of time putting thought and effort into it. So it's very easy to be overly cautious about what you're doing, because an athlete is always very cautious about what they're doing and what they're eating and how they're handling themselves when they're in season. So when you are in this diet era, you kind of start to adapt those same type of behaviors. And overall, when it came down to a lot of this and just some of the little things that I started to notice was a lot of like meal planning and just financing as well, like making sure that you're really budgeting it, because it's never out of anybody's reach to accomplish this. But I know that produce and everything can get expensive, so just making sure that you're buying just enough to be able to heal your body and to get all the nutrients that it needs, but at the same time, like making sure that you're not overly purchasing to where all your produce is going bad by the end of the week and you're not able to consume it. Mindful of your time, your energy, what you're doing, and how your planning is going. Those are a few bumps in the roads and obstacles that I was coming in contact with. But I know that when you try the diet out for yourself, it would definitely be your own personal experience and journey. But if you do ever come across any of these problems, my biggest advice would be to just plan. Everything that I like revolved around, I felt like just came out of me not planning very efficiently when I first started this diet. And I kind of just jumped into it like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start go grocery shopping and I'm going to start the diet. And I did have meals planned for that week, but then I found myself like overly consumed every Sunday, like trying to plan out my week and my meals and everything. Staying very organized, honestly, doing a lot of research, knowing what you're getting yourself into is also very important. I have a few good snacks and I have them on my TikTok if you want to go take a look at them, that I was genuinely loving, and some brands that I feel like are so good with clean eating. Knowing that whatever you're going to do for this diet or however you want to plan for this diet, that you go into it with precaution and you treat yourself nicely throughout it, but just making sure that you are 100% in it and you're doing it for yourself and for the better of yourself and enjoying the journey along the way. I want to share with you guys some more videos about my journey. I just wanted to share with you guys these little things that I started to notice that I was having a really hard time with during my anti-inflammatory diet, to see if I could prevent anybody else from having these problems. I'm over here telling everybody to go onto this diet because it is just so amazing, all the different stuff that I started to see. And I definitely recommend that you try out this diet. And if there is one thing that you do take away from it, it just be to plan. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you in another video. Bye.